These parenting styles come in waves. The children who were overprotected do not generally become helicopter parents. Your own parents might have been an exception to the prevailing style, but you will notice a personality stamp on your peers that will become very evident in the teen years and early 20s. Pay close attention to the heroes and icons of a generation, those who act out the qualities that others secretly wish they had as well. They are often the types who gain celebrity in youth culture: the rebels, the successful entrepreneurs, the gurus, the activists. These indicate emerging new values. Similarly, look at the trends and fads that suddenly sweep through your generation. For instance, the sudden popularity of digital currencies. Do not take these trends at face value, but look for the underlying spirit, the unconscious attraction towards certain values or ideals that they reveal. Nothing is too trivial for this analysis. Like an individual, any generation will tend to have an unconscious shadow side to its personality. A good sign of this can be found in the particular style of humor that each generation tends to forge. In humor, people release their frustrations and express their inhibitions. Such humor could tend toward the irrational or something edgier and even aggressive. A generation might seem rather prudish and correct, but its humor is raunchy and irreverent. This is the shadow side leaking out. As part of this, you will want to look at the relationship of the genders in your generation. In the 1920s and 1930s, men and women were trying to bridge their differences, to socialize in mixed groups as much as possible. The male icons were often quite feminine, such as Rudolph Valentino, and the female icons had a pronounced masculine or androgynous edge, such as Marlene Dietrich and Josephine Baker. Contrast this with the 1950s and the sudden and rather strong split between the genders, revealing an unconscious discomfort with and split from the cross-gender tendencies we all feel. In looking at this shadow side of your generation, keep in mind that its tendency toward one extreme, materialism, spirituality, adventure, safety, conceals a hidden attraction to the opposite. A generation like the one that came of age in the 1960s seemed disinterested in material things. Its main values were spiritual and inward, being spontaneous and what was thought of as authentic. All of this in reaction to their materialistic parents. But underneath this spirit, we could detect a secret attraction to the material side of life, in the desire to always have the best of something, the latest sound systems, the highest quality drugs, the hippest clothes. This attraction was revealed in all its truth during the yuppie years of the late 1970s and early 1980s. With all of this accumulated knowledge, you can begin to form an overall profile of your generation, one that is as complex and organic as the phenomenon itself. Your third task, then, is to expand this knowledge to something broader, first trying to piece together what could be considered the zeitgeist. In this sense, you are looking particularly at the relationship between the two dominant generations, early adults, ages 22 to 44, and those in midlife, 45 to 66. No matter how close the parents and children of these generations might seem, there is always an underlying tension, along with some resentment and envy. There are natural differences between their values and how they look at the world. You want to examine this tension and determine which generation tends to dominate and how this power dynamic might be shifting in the present. You will also want to see which part of the large... All right, what's up, everybody? This is Ace, and we're getting ready to get this real estate class started. For those of you that was listening in, that was chapter 17 of The Laws of Human Nature, one of the books I'm currently reading right now. If you guys have any issues with any of your relationships, or if you guys have communication problems or anything like that, I would definitely look to tap into that book. It's a really long read. I've been on this book for, I think, a little over 2 weeks now. I've been attacking it every day. So yeah, if any of you guys are interested in that, like I said, if you guys caught any part of it, it's The Laws of Human Nature. So anyways, today's class is going to be covering first-time homebuyer program, right? So I asked you guys to send me what state you guys live in or what state you guys are interested to look at some first-time homebuyer program. And for everyone that reached out, majority was for Texas. So before you guys jump out, even if you guys don't live in Texas, I really want you guys to take the time and kind of go through this class with me, because even though every state is going to be different, there's a lot of similarities, right? Or you guys might know somebody in Texas, you guys might end up moving to Texas, you just never know. So if you're not from Texas, don't jump out of this class. Please stay, because it's a lot of great information. And then, like I said,
there's a lot of similarities for Texas and other states as well. There are going to be differences, but for this first class, we're going to dive into Texas, and then it's looking like Florida might be next week. So those of you that weren't in the last class, all I asked is for everyone to just send me a message on the Well Squad, send me where you guys live at, or just send me the state, and then that way, whoever I get the most states from, I'll break down that state, and so you guys can see what the differences are. So it's going to be a pretty it's going to be a shorter class. Usually we go for about an hour. I'm going to try to see if we can get an hour out of this information, but a lot of it is straightforward. There are no workarounds and things like that, so it's going to be pretty much straightforward information. It's straight from the Texas Housing Authority and things like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it, and we'll kind of we'll go from there. So I'll kind of go over everything, and then when we get to the end, we'll open up for some Q&A if you guys have any questions on this program, or if you guys just have any other real estate questions. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to share this screen, and we're going to dive right into it. So let's get up out of this. All right. So here's a lot of the stuff that we've already covered through our journey. Like I said, we do these classes every week. For the most part, I kind of cover real estate. There has been a couple other classes that I've done where I didn't cover real estate. It was other topics. But as of now, we have all the previous classes that I've done. I know we've had issues with getting a few of the classes that I've done uploaded, but they're all uploaded now. So if you guys have missed any classes and you want to go back, or if you were in a class and there was maybe some information that you want to go back and get, you guys can tap back into those old classes, and you guys can find different links, different information, and all that stuff. So here goes some of the stuff that we've pretty much covered in our real estate journey so far. We've talked about the different benefits to real estate, right? Taxes, appreciation, how to leverage, possibly passive income and things like that. We've covered time and time again what type of expenses you can expect within real estate, your principal and interest for your mortgage, if you have one, taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, vacancies, all these other little issues. We've covered that in previous classes. How to figure out how much property you actually can afford, because this is going to save you when it's time for you to do your research. And, when you're on the hunt for a property, this is going to save you time from looking at homes that you can't afford, right? We would all like to be able to afford those $1 million homes, but some of us just aren't there yet. So you guys will eventually get there if you stick with the program. But for those of you just starting out, I dropped a link on how you can figure out how much property you can afford based on the income that you have coming in right now and expenses that you have going out. We broke down where to find, different properties that match your needs, how to find them searching, and, how to network with real estate agents and the MLS and all these other great things. We've talked about how to find a real estate agent, what to expect from home inspectors, how to find a mortgage lender, how to find property managers and what their job is, and how to get them to do the things that you're looking for. We've talked about financing. We broke that down into a two-part class because it's just so much to cover with financing. We still really didn't get to tap into everything. And then today we're going to be covering the first-time homebuyer programs. Like I said, most states have these programs in your state. So I hope you guys have your pen and your paper and you guys are taking notes. There'll be times where you guys might want to take a picture or write something down if I don't stay on the screen long enough for you to write down the exact website. But there will be some good websites, and I'll tell you guys which ones to write down, take a picture of, for those of you that are in Texas, so you guys can utilize it. And like I said, for those of you who are not in Texas, just sit in the class and just gain the information, because when we do cover your state, you'll see that there's going to be a lot of similarities, and a lot of this stuff will apply in other states. There might be little stipulations here and there, but for the most part, most of these programs are very, very similar based on every state. So here we go. So the first time homebuyer program. So the Texas State Affordable Housing Corporation, which is TSAHC, they provide mortgage loans, down payment assistance grants, and mortgage credit certificates to eligible first-time home buyers through the following programs. So they have two different programs in the state of Texas for first-time home buyers. So they have this program. It's like a HEROES program. It's Home for Texas HEROES Home Loan Program. And that's going to be for teachers, firefighters, EMS personnel, police, correctional officers, and veterans. So if you fall in one of these categories, we're not diving too much into this specific program right here, but I have a lot of the links and stuff. And you guys that live in Texas, if you fall under these categories, definitely take advantage of this program. And like I said, we're going to get a little bit more deeper. So today, what we're going to be going over is we're going to be going over the Home Sweet Texas Home Loan Program. And this is going to be for Texas home buyers with low and moderate incomes. So let's tap into the next one. So here goes some of the benefits for this program. It's a 30-year fixed interest rate mortgage loan. Several rates and loan options are going to be available for you. There's going to be the down payment assistance, which is a grant that never has to be repaid back. So this is very important right here. This is one of the most important parts that is going to help a lot of people, right? People are always looking for, how am I going to get the funding for the down payment? You know, I don't have this amount for the down payment. This is going to cover all that, and it's a grant. So that means that you don't ever have to pay this money back. Or forgivable second lien loan, which we're going to kind of talk about a little bit. The down payment assistance, the DPA, is available for up to 5% of the loan. So for those of you who aren't really good with math, we'll just say for every 100,000, 5,000 of that will be covered due to this program. So if you find a home that's 100,000, you know, they're going to give you 5% of the loan amount. So that's going to be, you know, the 5,000. If it's a $200,000 home, then it's 10,000, and, you know, so on and so on. But it's going to be based on limits and things like that. You do not have to be a first-time home buyer, right? That's the cool thing about this program in the state of Texas. So this is where things are a little bit different, is that Texas has different rules and stipulations for this. And we're going to talk about what it means to be an actual first-time home buyer in the eyes of the state of Texas. Let's see, it's available statewide through a network of participating lenders, which I have a link for you guys that are in the state of Texas. TSA-HC does not require borrowers to use an approved realtor. However, they do provide several resources to help find a realtor that are familiar with those programs. And like I said, I have the links for all that stuff, and we're going to dive into it. The income limits are going to vary by county. And expanded income and purchase price limits are available in targeted areas, which we have the links for all that stuff. First-time home buyers can also apply for a mortgage interest tax credit known as a mortgage credit certificate, which is something we're going to dive into a little bit more. So not only can you get this down payment assistance that up to that 5%, but you can also apply for this tax credit, which is the mortgage credit, the MCC is what it's called. And we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit more as well. So the TSA-HC defines a first-time home buyer as any family or individual that has not owned or had an ownership interest in a home within the past 3 years. So I put that in bold letters and I highlighted it. So that's very key to know. So that 3-year mark, that 3-year and 1 day mark, you qualify again as a first-time home buyer. So ownership interest is defined as any person who is living in the home as his or her principal residence and is listed on the deed of trust. For married couples, both spouses hold an ownership interest, even if only one is listed in the deed of trust. So that's another really important part. I know a lot of times when we do these classes, there will be married couples and they have a lot of questions on this stuff. So that answers everything you need right there. So let's go to the next slide. All right, so what are the benefits of the TSA-HC's forgivable second lien down payment assistance? So the forgivable second lien down payment assistance is with 0% interest and no monthly payments due. So this assistance is forgiven in full upon the 3rd anniversary of the date of the loan. So it is repayable in full during the 3-year term upon sale, transfer, or refinance. Something else that's very important for you guys to write down and to know. And once again, for those of you that are just joining in, we're talking about, this is Texas's program. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of similarities with this program with other states. So once you guys send me messages from your guys' state, the next state that we get that has the most people, I'm going to cover that one. So as of right now, it's looking like Florida. But like I said, we're still on Texas for those of you that are just joining in with us. So here are some details about the forgivable second lien assistance option. So you have that 3 to 5%, the down payment assistance. Government and conventional loan types are going to be available. Lower interest rate on the first lien mortgage loan, no additional fees. You need that 620 plus FICO credit score is a requirement, and you do not have to be a first-time home buyer to qualify for that forgivable second lien down payment assistance. So write all that stuff down. A lot of important stuff right there, and I know this is going to help a lot of people out. Here goes some of those websites that I want you guys to either write down, take a picture of, however you need to. Like I said, you guys will be able to go back and access this again once we post it in our university. But for right now, like I said, either try to write it down, take a picture, or whatever works best for you. So here goes some approved mortgage companies. And once again, this is going to be for that Texas program. So for those of you that are either in Texas, possibly thinking about moving to Texas, you might have some family members in Texas. This is going to be beneficial for all of you guys. Even if you don't live in the state of Texas, start looking at this because you might find something out there that this program is really good. You're able to get into a home for pretty much free, right? Because they cover up to 5%. And most of the time I tell people you're going to need, so we always say the FHA requires 3.5% and all that, but I tell people you're going to typically need about 5% to 6% when you start factoring in closing costs and you start getting appraisals and you start getting inspections and things like that. It's going to come out to about 6% of the value of the home that you're purchasing. So that 5% is pretty much for some of you, it's going to cover everything. And then for some of you might have to maybe come out of pocket a little bit. And I'm talking, $500, $1,000, and you're in a home and you don't ever have to pay that money back. That's part of this program, which is great. So anyways, here's some approved mortgage companies who work specifically with this program. So that's everyone you need right there. So that saves you from having to research companies and call out. You have the companies right here, and then you can, do your due diligence from there. And then here we go. I found a list of the real estate agents that specialize in this program, right? Because you're going to need an agent who this is something that I talk about when we were talking about finding a real estate agent. Not all agents are in the same thing. Some specialize in VA, some specialize in this, we have the real estate world is so big. It's not just limited. Everyone's not going to be able to have that specialty in whatever needs that you have, right? So that's what we talk about, finding the right real estate agent to match what it is that you're trying to do, whether it be a fourplex, a duplex, a townhome, a condo, getting something manufactured, right? There's, realtors that specialize in many different things. So here's a list of some real estate agents who specialize in this program that's going to help you out. So a good question is, what is a targeted area? Because remember, we were talking about a target area in the previous slide. So a targeted area, you may purchase a home anywhere in Texas using this home buyer program. However, higher income and purchase price limits are available to home buyers that purchase a home in a targeted area. So targeted areas are census tracts designated as areas of economic distress. So if you want to know where those areas are, here we go. I put it on here for you guys. So copy this. Like I said, take a screenshot of these websites, whatever you can. You got your mortgage companies that already know about this program and lend for this program. Here's a list of real estate agents that specialize in this. And then here's also that targeted area for you guys. So back to what we were talking about earlier, that mortgage credit certificate that I was talking about. So first-time home buyers can also apply for a mortgage interest tax credit known as a mortgage credit certificate. So TSAHC offers mortgage credit certificates, also known as MCCs, to first-time home buyers. An MCC is a mortgage interest tax credit that reduces the amount of federal income taxes you pay every year. So MCCs are specifically for first-time home buyers who are eligible for the following programs. And here you go. I I put the link for you guys so you can go in. That link will kind of show you more of who qualifies, and then it'll also give you a good idea. It has a calculator on there. Once you start looking for homes and things like that, it has a calculator that would kind of give you an idea of what you can look to expect to pay in taxes. So with this program, so you're going to get, you're going to get that mortgage credit certificate, which in essence is going to be a tax credit. You're going to get up to 5% of the down payment covered. That's going to be a grant that you don't have to pay back. And you're able to get into a home with almost no money down. Like, this is really a no money down, no strings attached. You don't have to do all this. I laid it all out for you guys right there. So like I said, this one was pretty quick. It's pretty much straightforward. There is, nothing really, there's nothing around it. There's no back doors or anything like that. Like I said, it's really straightforward. And it's a great program. I think this will benefit a lot of people. A lot of people don't know about this, right? There's a lot of people who've never even heard of these first-time homebuyer programs. And every state doesn't have it, but majority of the states do have it. There will be a little bit difference on, what type of down payment is going to be available for that state, how much you'll have to put down, your credit, all these different things. Every state is going to be different, but they're going to be very similar requirements. So this is a great program, for you guys to look into. So we're going to go ahead and kind of open up this Q&A. Like I said, it can be questions about this. It can be, just general questions you guys have about real estate. It really doesn't matter. Like I said, this one was going to be kind of quick because it's short and sweet and to the point. So we'll go ahead and open up the floor to any questions that you guys might have.
I got a question.
Hey, no good.
Hey.
Okay, so quick question. I qualify for a VA loan, but how how like the houses are getting pushed up? I'm out in Arizona though.
Right.
But is it possible if you get a VA loan to also get like a down payment assistance to help for those overpriced houses?
Right. So I don't know off the top of my head what the first time home buyer program is in the state of Arizona, but send me a message and I'll get with you and I'll send you the link to the info for Arizona, because they might have a program similar to Texas. So that's the cool thing about Texas, is that they look out for veterans, right? So they have, if you're a veteran, you qualify for this if you're in Texas. So they might have the same thing in Arizona, but I'm not too sure. So shoot me a message on Well Squad. Shoot me a DM, and then I'll send you the link for the state of Arizona, and you can dig a little bit deeper into that.
All right, will do. I appreciate you.
No problem.
So I'm thinking I'm moving into a quadplex soon, either a triplex or a quadplex. And you were just explaining the DPA and how you can get. Basically, I would just have to find a good realtor and
so
go from there.
So the thing with these first time home buyer programs is they have a lot more restrictions, right? So for these type of programs, the limits that they're going to allow, and then also the type of properties that they're going to allow you to get in. So with this program, you might not be able to get into a duplex, a triplex. You're not going to get into those multis. It's going to be more for those people that are looking for single family homes. There are, like I said, every state is going to be different.
So I just have to come out of pocket for the age.
Some of these programs will allow you to get into multi-families, like a duplex, triplex, or a fourplex, but majority of these programs are just going to be for single family homes.
So it is a possibility, but the FHA loan is probably the best bet.
Yeah, you're kind of breaking in a little bit, but so FHA will probably be your.
Hello?
your best route because your limits are going to be a lot higher, and you'll be able to get into, you know, that fourplex, that triplex, whatever you want without any issues or anything like that. You'll just have to come up with that 3.5%. Just have to come up with that 3.5% down payment, and then, you know, you're gonna have to come up with the money for, you know, closing fees. If you don't roll them into the loan, you're gonna have to come up with money for an inspection and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll probably come up to around 5%. Okay, thank you.
All right, you guys got any other questions for me? Like I said, it doesn't have to be just on these first-time homebuyer program. It could be if you're in a deal right now. If you have any questions on anything, go ahead and just fire away.
Do you have any tips for people in the state of South Carolina or any knowledge?
As far as what?
Right now, I kind of tapped in late and I see the first time home buyers.
Yeah.
So,
this class, so what I covered for this one was I just did the state of Texas. So I asked everyone to send me where they were from, and most people sent me the state of Texas. So I'm just going to be working on state by state based on what people tell me where they're from and send me messages for it. And then, you know, whatever number has the highest number, that's the program. But I don't know anything specifically off the top of my head for your state. If you want to send me a message, I can send you a link, and you can dive into it from there.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, maybe, I guess, okay.
Go ahead. What's up?
I was going to say, well, just for maybe what's some tips for, since I came in late, just a tip for a first time home buyer, because I'm in a situation now where I never bought a home and I always wanted to buy a home, but maybe like 2-resident home where I could live in and rent out the other room, or maybe just a home that I could purchase myself and rent out. So as a first time buyer, maybe a quick tip or maybe some things that you know.
Okay, so it depends on what route you want to go, right? So right now we're covering the first time home buyer programs, and a lot of these programs are just going to be for if you want a single family home, right? Which is still not bad and still a good route. So it's like, you know, right now that you're looking to get into a duplex. So I don't know what your funding situation is and your money situation, and we don't have to get into that. But what I would recommend, if I could go back again, if I knew about this program, I would have took advantage of this program, right? I would have found a property for whatever the max limit is, and I would have utilized this program based on where I live, and I would have lived in it for, you know, maybe a year, a couple years, get some good equity, and I would have looked to either refinance or look to rent this property out, and then I would leverage FHA to get that duplex or that triplex or that fourplex. And it's like, now you got rents coming in from this property because you're going to be able to rent it out, and you're going to be able to use that as proof of income. If you look to get into a duplex, if there's already a renter in one of the units, you can use that as proof of income, and then you're going to have the other side as your primary residence. So now you have 3 doors under your belt. You have this single family home that you got utilizing this first time home buyer program, which is great because it's going to give you that time to get your credit up. It's going to give you that time to build your money up because you know you want to get into that duplex, right? So by year 2, you've been saving money, you've been building equity, you've been paying down your mortgage on your home. Now you find this duplex that you like, you rent out this home, you live in the duplex for a year, and then you rinse and repeat this every 2 to 3 years. So it's like, by year 10, you could be looking at having anywhere from 6 to 8 doors under your name. And it all started by you getting into your first property almost next to nothing, utilizing these first time home buyer programs. So it's like, use this stuff to leverage yourself for 5-10 years down the road, right? That's what I'm trying to get you guys to start thinking 5-10 years down the road, because eventually it's going to come. And if you start doing stuff now, like little things like this, getting into real estate for next to nothing, it's going to really give you a leg up ahead of a lot of people. And, you know, you're going to be thanking yourself 5-10 years down the road from now.
Beautifully put. Thank you. And do you use credit in any way to kind of leverage these situations? I'm currently in the business of like building like business credit. So I'm just curious, does credit come into play in any of these situations?
It can, but it's going to be different types of financing and things like that. So you're going to have to, it's going to be more creative financing. You're not going to be leveraging like the first time home buyer. You're not going to be able to leverage like FHA and things like that. It's going to be a different route, but you are able to leverage credit to get into real estate.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem. Good questions.
All right, so I got a question for you, man. I appreciate you taking the time to answer it too.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so we're in the state of Virginia. My wife and I, we both are retired military. We moved into this house that we're in now under her VA loan before we got married.
Okay.
So now I'm looking to probably step up, but also, you know what I'm saying, rent this one out.
Okay.
But would both of our VA loans end up tied up in that?
Nope.
When it comes to it?
Nope. You guys have two different benefits. And the cool thing about the VA home loan is that if you don't max out your VA limit, you're able to get 2 properties under one VA home loan. So a lot of people don't know this, and a lot of people don't take advantage of it. And I wish more military members would. And appreciate you and your wife's service. And you guys have a very unique situation to where you guys can, you know, I was talking about this last week. We had a service member in, and I was kind of giving him the game on, you know, you have the opportunity to really change your guys' life with this real estate stuff by having the VA home loan, and VA increased their limits to $1 million, right? Obviously, you can't just go get $1 million without the proper funding to be able to show that you can handle that, those payments. But, you know, when you get your money right and you start leveraging all these other properties, you can start tapping into some of that stuff. So you guys have a very unique situation where you guys can every 2 years, realistically, every 2 years, you guys can rewash your VA home loan into your next fourplex or your next duplex or your next single family home. You guys can really just keep going, refinance into a traditional, which will free up your VA home loan. And you guys can just constantly keep using it every 2 to 4 years. And you guys have 2 of them that you guys can use. So that means you can have up to 4, you guys could have 4 fourplexes under your name. Your wife could have 2 fourplexes under her VA, and you could have 2 fourplexes under your VA. So you guys would have to get very creative with it, because when you utilize the VA, you know that you have to live in a resident for 1 year as your primary resident. So it's like, you know, if you and your wife can do something where you guys are finding these properties, you know, 1 year you use yours to get into a fourplex and you guys live in 1 unit and then rent it out. The next year you guys go get one, because what you guys are doing is you're building up your real estate portfolio. So many people are like, oh, I don't want to live in an apartment. Their pride is too much to the side. But if you think of this strategically and you're looking at it at the money side and trying to build this net worth and build this generational wealth, you guys can set up your guys' family, you know, crazy from the work that you guys did by just bouncing around from fourplex to fourplex to fourplex to fourplex, right? Because it's only a year. So that, you know, if you look at it with this type of mind frame to it, if you guys just have, a bed, a couch, you guys don't have to get a lot, because your goal, this is not going to be your guys' home, right? So if you guys just put your foot on the gas on this for 5 to 10 years, you guys could have you guys could have $1 million real estate portfolio, and it will be paying you guys on top of what you guys are getting from the VA, on top of what you guys are getting from your military pension. And you're going to be having this passive income coming in from your real estate, because you guys are going to be networking with real estate agents. You guys are going to be networking with property managers, and you guys are going to have this nice portfolio that's just going to be continually building generational wealth for you guys. So you have a very unique situation. And if you guys do want to go that route, you guys definitely can. And if you have more questions or want to tap in more to that, just shoot me a message and we can set something up.
Okay, yeah, I definitely do that. I appreciate that. That cleared up a few things for me.
No problem.
Hey, what's up, Ace? I'm
What's
a
up, Chris?
little late today. I apologize. I was actually just getting done looking at
Hey, what's up with
a
that?
tarot card just recently. So my question is a little bit off topic in regards to the first time home buyer.
Yeah,
So I brought up a couple of weeks ago that I was speaking to a realtor about buying some land. And I
right.
found some that I'm really interested in, but they have HOA fees on the land. I don't have to build on it right now because I'm not ready to with my credit. I don't have enough to my credit's not good enough to go get the FHA yet.
Right.
So do you recommend me getting that piece of land right now, sitting on it? Because I know we talked about it. You said, yes, sit on it because you never know. Like the situation I told you how my father-in-law got it
Right.
for 6,000. He's reselling it for 60.
Right.
Even with that HOA fee, does it make sense right now to do that with the HOA fee? Like
It
the
really
HOA
has
is like,
it
go
really
ahead.
has to make sense to you because look at that HOA fee and talk to them, ask them, hey, do you guys see you guys self in, when's the last time you guys raised HOA fees? Do you guys see yourself raising HOA fees anytime soon? And then also it's like, what is going to be your plan with this land? Do you have, is it just rolling the dice and going to see what's going to happen? Do you think that there's going to be some type of big development going on in the area in the next 5 years that you'll be able to offload this property onto? Or when you get your credit right, will you be able to go and use and build on this land? You know what I mean? So you have to have a good exit plan. If you're just rolling the dice and you feel like you want to roll those dice and hold, then that's just going to have to be a decision that you're just going to have to sit with. Because if I tell you, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, but then you're sitting with this land that you can't do nothing with 5 years from now, and it's like you've been paying this HOA fee every quarter for the last 5 years, and you can't do anything with that land. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I appreciate that. No, I found some. It looks like they're going to start developing in the area. A couple plots of the land already have houses built on them. So I'm not sure if a development is going to come in there. I've been trying to find research in regards to it. I just can't find anywhere. I don't know what to look up to find out if people are building. I was looking into seeing like if they're building new schools in the area or if they're updating the schools, because I know sometimes that could be an indicator of like them starting to develop the area. But another thing I wanted to mention, thank you for following my page, man. I appreciate the support for real. Like I said, I was a little late today, so hopefully this will be up on recordings pretty soon. I'm trying to close the deal on the Turo car. I found a pretty good deal on one. I think I'm gonna jump into it feet first, because I know you said sometimes you just gotta kind of jump into things and take the risk. So
Yep.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your support and everything, and you're always answering my questions. So I just want to give you the flowers while you're here. You know what I mean? I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. So for those of you guys who don't know, so that was Chris. Chris has been tapped into every one of these real estate classes. I don't personally know Chris at all, but Chris has been hitting the ground running with this stuff. So he's taking all this information that I'm teaching you guys and that I've taught in these classes, and he's putting it to work, right? He's reaching out to agents, he's reaching out to lenders, he's doing research, he's doing all these different things. And you guys heard he's also doing Turo, getting a car listed that he can rent it out, right? These are the things that you guys have to be doing if you guys really want to break this rat race, if you guys really want to start building generational wealth, if you guys really want to start tapping in to getting money coming in from all these different areas. Because if you guys follow what me and Chris do, we're constantly always doing new things. Me and Chris are not scared to go out and do something to make 20 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks, 1,000 bucks, right? You can't ever be too big enough to where you're too big to make this amount of money. Obviously, we have to do things that's gonna be best for our time, but we're constantly always looking at deals. We're always trying to we have our feet into so many different things, and that's how you constantly have, we always talk about having multiple streams of income. It's like we don't preach it to you guys, we actually live this on a daily basis. And we just started our podcast and our YouTube channel, and you guys are going to get to see a little more into our lives that you guys really kind of don't get to see. Chris shows a lot, I show a little bit here and there, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to show you guys some day-to-day things that we're constantly doing. How we have to wake up early in the mornings to be ready for the market because we're on the West Coast, and how we have to do our research, and how we're trying to get into the rental car business, and we're trying to get this YouTube channel up and running, how we're maintaining our core sales, and then we're doing our stuff within the Wealth Squad, and then it's like we have our own families and our own friends, and it's like we have all these things, but it's like we know that nobody is going to come to our doorstep and bring opportunities to us. So we have to constantly always, we're always finding these ways. We're always trying to find how we can leverage this and get into this. You know, we don't just preach BS to you guys. It's like everything that we talk to you guys about is stuff that we actually do and stuff that we're out here doing. So salute to Chris, man. I like your journey, and you're headed in the right direction. And, you know, a lot of other people have reached out to me. We've had a few members close some deals, which is great. That, you know, that's amazing. We have people on the verge of getting ready to close deals. You know, I feel like Chris is about a month or two away from closing the deal. So that's the whole point. And being in these classes is for you guys to get out and put all this information to use. So, you know, that's just my quick little rant, but you guys can go ahead. We'll open it back up to the questions. Like I said,
I just want to expand on that a little bit. So I'll tell you, you guys doing the podcast thing, actually, everything you guys do kind of motivates me in a little way, or whether it's big or small. But it told me, I was like, you know what? They're documenting the things that they're doing. I'm doing this. I don't really have a following yet. I don't have nobody that's really like following me or like that's interested in what I'm doing. But why not document it now? Exactly. So that way, when I do eventually close my first deal, when I have my first positive cash flow on my first Toro car, I can have documentation saying, hey, look, these are the steps. Just like you guys are doing right now, these are the steps you got to do to get to that point. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. Like I said, you motivate me. Keep it up, because everything you guys see, I'm watching. So I appreciate you, man.
Love to hear it, man. And for all of you guys out there listening, document every single thing that you guys do. I don't care if you guys are into restoring shoes, restoring furniture, if you're a painter, if you're a mechanic, if you're a painter, if you like to draw, if you're a tattoo artist, if you're a traveler, if you like to go out to different restaurants and, you know, do blogs and vlogs, document every single thing you do, because eventually what you guys will be able to do is you guys will be able to turn around and you guys will be able to teach your family members. You'll be able to teach your friends. Eventually, you guys will be building up your social media. You guys will be able to, exactly like what me and Chris do. We go out, we do stuff, we figure it out, we figure out how to be profitable, and then we share it to you guys, right? We talk about all these things that we do all the time because we just want to see other people win. We put out so much free game and things that we do, trades that we get into, trades that we get out of, losses that we take, you know, losses that we've taken from different ventures that we've done, right? It's not all peaches and cream, right? Everything isn't going to always work out. You know, every venture is not going to always work out well. Every real estate deal is not going to work out well. But the thing is, the more deals that you guys do, the more time that you keep trying it, you're going to see where you went wrong that first time, and that next deal is going to be better. So it's like by deal 10, it's going to be a smooth breeze to where you're not even going to, you know, you're not even going to be that much involved, because your network is going to start growing, and your real estate agents and your lenders are going to be doing majority of the legwork for you. You're just going to be the middleman kind of collecting everything. And this is what I'm trying to get you guys to see. This is what I'm trying to get you guys to do. For those of you that are interested, right? Some of you might just be in here just to see what's going on. You know, you might be semi-interested, but for those of you that really want to take this stuff serious, this stuff is life-changing stuff. When you get 10 doors under your belt, and when I say doors, that's, you know, just, that's what they say in real estate. When you have, whether, you know, if you have a duplex, you have 2 doors. If you have a triplex, 3 doors. If you have a single family home, that's 1 door, right? So the more doors that you start getting, when you are able to get them passive, when I mean passive, that means that your renters are covering your principal and interest for your mortgage. Your renters are covering your insurance. Your renters are covering your taxes. Your renters are paying the utilities. They're making sure the landscaping is being taken care of, right? So now, after all that is taken care of, you have money coming your way. You know, it might be $100, it might be $200. So it's like $100 or $200 is not a lot, but imagine down the road when you have 10 to 20 doors profiting you, you know, $200 a month. You have 10 doors profiting $200 a month. That's $2,000 that you're making every single month from not, you know, you had to do a whole bunch of legwork in the beginning, but by year 5, you're just sitting back doing whatever other venture you got going on. It's like, it's a compound effect. It's like how dividends, you know, that compound effect with dividends, how it builds up. When you do something, when you start a new venture, when you're bringing money in, it's like you're constantly building those dividends, and it's going to end up creating this big snowball effect of all this money coming at your way. And it's like, you want to keep putting this money to work, right? You want to do little things to treat yourself here and there, take a trip, buy this, maybe upgrade this every now and then, but majority of the time you want to keep rolling that money back into whatever it is, you know, whether if you create a business or if you have a dividend portfolio, or if you're building whatever it is, your real estate portfolio, right? You guys want to keep building. And then, you know, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, you're going to reap all the rewards from all that work that you put in. You're really going to be kicking back enjoying the stuff that really matters the most, enjoying your family, enjoying your friends, going to all your kids' games or shows, and whatever it is that you're into, you're going to be able to focus on that way more because you're putting in the work now. And it's like, 5, 10, 15 years is going to come. And it's like, do you want to let 5, 10, 15 years pass you by? And 5 years from now, one of you guys might be like, damn, I remember 5 years ago, I was in the wealth squad and Ace laid out the whole game for me to get into real estate. I could have had at least 2 or 3 properties by now. And it's like, I still don't have anything, right? You don't want time to just keep passing you by, because one thing we know for sure, time isn't stopping for any of us. Time is just going to keep going no matter what we have going on, right? No matter how much debt we have, no matter how much wealth we have, no matter if we're sick, if we're healthy, time is going to keep going. So you have to keep putting things in place. As time keeps going, you want to keep getting, better at it. You want it to keep growing for you and keep, paying you however you can. So that's my little spiel on that. If you guys got any more questions, go ahead and fire them away at me. You guys got me in a good mood.
Yo, Ace, quick question.
What's up?
How soon can you basically reuse the FHA home loan? Like, I mean, obviously you have to stay in the unit for a year, but once you've done that year, can you already be processing another loan as you're closing on your first year?
Yeah. So if you already have an FHA loan, and let's say by year 1 you get enough equity and you want to refinance into a conventional, once you refinance that into a conventional loan, that clears up your FHA, you can go ahead and get into it again.
Oh, okay. So you just have to refinance on that initial property and put that in the conventional loan.
That's one route for you to do it. Yep.
Okay, cool. Appreciate you, man.
No problem.
Hey, Ace, do you recommend putting your first home under your small business?
You mean like under an LLC or something like that?
Yeah.
So it depends on, are you planning on renting it out, or is it just going to be your primary resident?
I plan on renting it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all the way, but
Right.
I definitely will get the FHA loan, et cetera.
Yeah. So the thing about the FHA and the VA home loan is you're not supposed to be using those for investment properties, which is weird because both of them you can get up to a 4-plex. So you can't put it into you can't put it under a LLC right away. But what I do with mine is if I use FHA or if I use VA, after that year mark in 1 day, I get it transferred over
And then take
to an
advantage.
LLC. Yep.
Oh, transfer it over. Okay.
Well, not
And would you have
necessarily.
to
So I go to, I get my lawyers and I go to the title company and get it transferred over.
okay. And you wouldn't have to finance it and turn it into a conventional?
What's that?
You wouldn't have to refinance and then turn it into a conventional loan?
No.
Okay. Appreciate that. Yeah.
No problem.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so regarding you mentioned about how you can transfer the property to under the LLC after the 1 year mark. But my question is regarding the mortgage. How does the bank react to that, saying that the title has changed from your name, your personal ownership, to an LLC?
They've never reacted anyway every time I've done it. Like I said, as long as I've never had banks contact me for anything. As long as they get their payments, I haven't had them contact me for anything.
Oh. Thank you.
No problem. All right, you guys got any other questions for me before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I got another one for you, Ace. So right now, what I'm actually doing is I'm actually taking some more of your advice. So I'm lowering my overall expenses. I'm actually moving out. I got my first apartment. I'm actually going to be going to rent from family, so I can kind of like save some money. So I'm basically going to be paying half in rent now when I go stay with family, even though I got a son and I got a wife, but she understands, she's on the same journey. We're trying to sacrifice now so we can reap the benefits later. But my grandfather owns the property, and he wants for example, the apartment that I'm going into it was built in the 50s, right? So
Right.
it's never been renovated, it's never been updated ever.
Uh-huh.
Can he use the FHA to get like a 203K FHA to
Yep.
renovate the property? Because he doesn't want to knock it down because right now it's a 3-family, but it's grandfathered in. So if he knocks it down, it'll become a single family only. So yeah, that's my question. Can he use that 203K for that?
Yep, he definitely can. He'll just have to find the right lender, and then find the contractors and all that stuff. But they'll be able to, once he finds the right lender who specializes in those, they'll tell them, okay, we want you to find the contractor so you can show us exactly what the amount will be and all that stuff. But once you guys find the right lender who will do that, and then all you have to do is call lender and say, hey, we're trying to find, do a 203K, and then they'll either say yes or no. And if they say yes, they're going to say, yeah, we can lend for that. And then, here are our requirements. We want you to get with the contractor so we can get, the layout, what the cost is going to be. And then that's how you work the numbers from there.
That's actually makes me think of another question. So, I mean, you probably talked about this during the presentation. I'm sorry I was late, so I apologize if I'm being redundant. But my question is, for example, when you're looking at a property, right? The first thing is like my thought is you want to go find a property that's kind of run down, that needs to be renovated and needs to be fixed, right? For example, if you're trying to take advantage of the BRRRR method, I know you don't really do that often, but if you're looking in that situation, do you just call around to contractors and say, hey, I want to quote to see how much it would be to renovate this house? Because I want to start trying to figure out that process too. Or do you do they charge you? And if they do, that's fine. But is that what you're kind of doing? You're just calling random contractors to see what they would charge to renovate the property, and then you just factor that into the loan?
That's one route that you can go. Or what you can do is I would recommend getting with real estate agents, because they have contractors that they deal with on a regular. And then, you can kind of tell that agent, hey, you don't have to necessarily tell them the property right away, but you can say, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. This is what I found. Do you have any contractors? And then what the contractors will do is they'll kind of, they'll meet you at the site, and then they'll kind of, go do a walkthrough, and then they'll kind of tell you what price point that you'll be looking at to get, those rehabs done, whether it have to be electrical, whether it be, this, that, or the third. They'll kind of run down with you and say, hey, okay, this is, what our bid will be for this job.
Okay, that makes sense. So that realtor I'm talking to, so I can just ask her, say, hey, do you have any contractors? And also, I haven't got a call back from the other realtors I called. So because I know you said don't just use one person, tell them, hey, I'm shopping around with multiple people, kind of use your sales tactics, right? Yeah. So is the contractor the one that does the inspection on the property, or does someone else do the inspection?
So an actual home inspector will be the one that does. And most home inspectors typically charge anywhere from $200 to $500. So this is what's going to happen, right? I've talked about this in a previous course, but I'll kind of give you a rundown and other people listening. So what a home inspector is going to do is they're going to come and they're going to be the one who should be checking everything. They're going to be checking the roof. They're going to be checking for mold. They're going to be checking under all the sinks. They're going to be checking all the electrical outlets. If there's like a pool or anything in the back, they're going to be checking all the plumbing and all these different things. And what they're going to do is I like to be with them as they're doing the inspection, because I want real-time information. That way, if I see something or if they see something, they can say, hey, I would, look into this or look into that. And what they're going to do at the very end, they're taking pictures, they're writing notes. When they're completely done with their inspection, usually less than 24 hours, they're going to send you a completely full report. They're going to send you a report of all the major issues and then all the minor issues, right? So they're going to have pictures with everything. Everything is going to be circled, highlighted. And then you take that. And then, if you're looking to buy a property, you take that as your negotiating tactic, right? So if there's $10,000 in major issues, because that's kind of what you're worried about, especially right now in the seller's market, it's kind of hard because a lot of sellers are just saying as is. But if it's a buyer's market, you have more leeway, and you can say, hey, either lower the price 10,000 and I'll get this taken care of, or you guys take care of it, and then, we'll keep the price of the same. And then, so that's when you get back to the negotiating board with whoever you're buying the property from.
All right, perfect. That makes sense. And then I know you went over, I just forget, because I know we had another class where you went over this too. So let's say, is it like a pass fail situation, or they're just inspecting it and they're going to let
Nope.
you know what happens and what and
they're
when needs to be fixed?
they have no bias. They can't tell you. I mean, they can tell you, but they're not going to tell you if they think it's a good property. Their only job is to literally tell you what's everything that they see that's wrong. And I'm talking about, you're going to get a list of maybe 50 different things that they see is wrong, but some of it's going to be little minor stuff, right? Maybe like a chip in the paint in the wall, or maybe one of the light switches is missing a screw, or you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be, they're supposed to point out everything that's wrong. And then they're also supposed to point out like the major things, like if there's any plumbing issues, or if they see like a leak in the roof, or if there's like a leak under the sink, or anything like that. So it's going to be a completely full report. And then that's when you kind of get back to the negotiating board with the seller and you say, hey, I want these issues. Some people don't even want major issues fixed. Some people don't care. They just want to know, because they might have a person that might be able to do it for, way cheaper, or who knows what the situation may be. But that's kind of how it goes. So it's not going to be like a pass fail. It's not going to be like a rating. That their only job is to tell you everything that they see that's wrong with the property.
Okay, that makes sense. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Yo, Ace, have you ever had to walk away from a deal due to,
Oh yeah,
property having major issues?
oh yeah, all the time. There's been some that, like for instance, somebody was asking me, there was this mobile home that I was going to get into last year, and once we did that walkthrough, there was just so many issues that it wasn't even worth me even trying to negotiate the price or anything like that. It was just so much that was wrong that I didn't even want to get into it.
Okay, cool, appreciate it.
Yep.
That actually reminds me. So in regards to the mobile home thing, I know we talked about that a little bit in the last class. What is your opinion on, I mean, you said you were trying to get into it. I'm assuming you're kind of bullish on it. So what is your opinion on looking for properties and then putting a mobile home on it and kind of going through that way? Can you use the FHA for that? Like, for example, or let me restructure the question.
Yeah.
Can you use an FHA for a piece of land and then a purchase of a mobile home to put it on that land?
Not that I specifically know of, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I just don't know of anyone that's done that, or I haven't heard of anything like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do it. I just don't know the full stipulations on that. There's so many, when you look into the guidelines and what you can and can't do, there's so many different things on there. It's just something you would have to dig deeper in. Like I said, I've never looked into that or heard anyone that's done that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can or can't. So I'm not too sure on that question.
No, gotcha. So would you recommend, so like I'm assuming you're looking at properties now because that have mobile homes on them. Like when you're going to purchase that, are you just going through a conventional way, like 20% down, 30-year fix? How does that process work?
So the type of mobile homes that I'm looking for are going to be the ones that are under 10 grand. And so I would just pay cash for those. And then, some that maybe need 5 to 10 grand at most in rehab. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm not looking, yeah, there's a lot of them out there too. You just have to find them in the right area. And you have to do a lot of research. But like I said, that's not on the forefront of my radar right now. That's going to be, 6 months to a year down the road. I'll be looking more into it. But like I said, I have so many other things going on right now. It's just not in the forefront.
Gotcha. No, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Is it possible to use a 203K loan on a mobile home?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't see, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. You would just have to find the right lender and see what their stipulations are for that. But yeah, that's, like I said, for the mobile homes, I'm not too sure. I haven't got any type of creative financing or anything like that because I haven't dabbled into the mobile home. So if there's someone in here right now listening, and if you're in the mobile home world, if you can tap in, that'd be great. But yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
And that goes for the FHA loan for a mobile home as well. You don't have any information on it?
Yeah, I don't have any information on that.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it.
But all you guys have to do, so for like questions like those, if you reach out to lenders, if you ask them, hey, do you guys do FHA? What are your guys' requirements? They'll be able to tell you right there on the spot. You can say, hey, I'm looking to get a mobile home. Do you guys do FHAs for these? And they'll tell you right then and there. They'll know, the lenders.
Right. right.
A real estate agent won't know. Some might know, depending on, maybe they dealt. Some might know and they might be able to point you in the right direction. The lender, some might not know. But yeah, I would just go straight to the lender, and because it's going to be on the lender what type of property and what they will allow and what they won't allow. So that's a great question to take to any lender you guys are dealing with.
Also, as far as like lenders that you deal with, do you go with both like conventional banks as well as credit unions?
I haven't used a conventional bank since I did my first deal. Yeah, I did my first deal with a conventional bank, and then I started finding, my network started growing, and I started finding private lenders, and their rates just don't even, private lenders' rates, not necessarily saying that they're always going to be better, but the lenders that I deal with is like night and day compared to the big banks. They require less, and then once you deal with them often, they require less from you. So, when you first go through and you're first getting a loan, they're going to scrub, your finances, they're going to scrub your credit. They're going to they want to know what type of income you got going on. They want to know about all your properties and things like that. But once you do about deal 3 or 4, all that stuff is out the window, because they know that, by the time you do deal 3 or 4 with them, there's probably going to be a couple of years that pass by. So it's like you're going to build that rapport with them, and they're just going to be throwing money at you all the time. I have lenders that call me and they're like, "Hey, you looking at any deals? We got some funding." So you get to a point where lenders will start reaching out to you. And then what's cool about private lenders is you could do your due diligence and if you find a good lender and you're like, "Hey, these are the rates that I found," my lenders will match it or beat it every time. So sometimes I'll just kind of mess around with them and I'll shop around, and then I'll be like, "Hey, I found this deal," and they just kind of laugh. They're like, "We'll match it or beat it." So that's the cool thing when you guys start finding these private lenders, because the big banks, everyone's just going to be out to make their money at the end of the day. That's just kind of expected when you go into the real estate world. It's a money game. So, everyone's going to try to get theirs however they can. But the cool thing about, the private lenders is they have more flexibility. They have more leeway. They can do a lot more than the big banks. They kind of have to follow a guideline, so they can't be as flexible and things like that. So that's why I stress network, because it would just make your life so much easier. And I know it's easy for me to say now because I've been doing this for a while, but even before, I was going to meetings, I was going to different groups. You know what I mean? I was going to property management groups. They used to have a meetup every month. They used to have a real estate meetup every Wednesday, the second Wednesday of every month. So I would just go to these things and I would just, talk to people. There's going to be a lot of people that are looking to get into real estate. There's going to be people there that have been in real estate for 10, 20 plus years. You're going to find those old timers that have been in 50 plus years, and they'll just pop up just to give out free game and free information. So it's like, start networking, because you guys just never know who you'll cross, who you run into, and how beneficial it will be to you down the road. And it's like, you might be able to benefit somebody else, you just never know. So that's why I always recommend you guys get out there and network.
Hey, what's up, Bass? How's it going? I appreciate everything that you've been doing. I tuned in a little bit late, but a couple questions I had. As far as like the FHA, I don't know if you guys touched on it, with the Biden giving the 25,000. I know back in 2009, I was able to get the Obama, I think it was 8,000 at the time for the FHA. But if this one applies, and if I end up getting a house right now, do you think it'll probably be, I don't know, retroactive that they apply it to it, or it'll be something that you'll have to get after he applies it?
I'm not sure, because what state are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
California.
You're in Cali, so I don't know. I think we'll probably be covering Cali here soon for their first time home buyer program. Cali has so many crazy programs, and it's to the point to where it's, Cali is so big that even, certain counties even have programs that help out. So I don't know all of California's what they have going on right now, but probably, right now the next class is looking like it's going to be either California or Florida based on everyone that we have. But shoot me a message in the Well Squad. Let me know that you're out in Cali, and I'll send you the link for California, so you can kind of go through that and see what all they're offering and what all you can get, what type of help you can get to get into your first home.
I appreciate that. And then my next question is, I got some family that they been going for loan or bidding on houses, but I guess from their understanding, because I'm figuring I might have to run through this too, is that they're approved for a certain amount, but their bank will want the house to get appraised, and if it appraises for that amount, but they want to put like it's a bidding war. So if it goes over asking bid, they have to go out of pocket to cover that difference.
Yep.
Even though they're approved for, let's say the house is 200,000. I know it's kind of out wild. It won't be 200,000 probably, but it'll be around that price. And then say they bid like 275, but it only appraises for like 200,000. They got to come out of pocket.
Yep.
75, even though they got approved for like a $300,000 house. So
yeah. So these first time home buyer programs, what it is they have a cap for how much. So what's cool about them is that even though they have a cap, that cap is just for what they'll give you, right? So that means, let's say if California has a $250,000 cap and they're going to give you 5% of your down payment, and let's say you find the house that you guys like, you put in your offer, it gets accepted, and when you go to appraise it, if it appraises for higher than what the seller is selling it for, that's fine. That's irrelevant, because let's say the seller is selling it for 250, you put in your offer for 250, they accept it. 250 is what the cap of California, what they'll allow you to get, or that they'll cover for you. And the appraisal comes back higher, that's just going to benefit you. So just because the appraisal comes back higher, that doesn't mean that the sales price is going to go higher. Does that make sense? So does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep. All right, you guys, we'll take one more question if you guys have any. If not, then we'll wrap this up.
Do you do any wholesaling?
No,
like wholesaling homes? Any advice on that?
I don't do any wholesaling. We have some wholesalers that are within the Well Squad. So you know how I was talking about networking, we have wholesalers in the Well Squad. We have people that do bird deals in the Well Squad. We have lenders in the Well Squad. We have real estate agents in the Well Squad. We have lawyers in the Well Squad. So the Well Squad is we have over 35,000 members right now. Use the Well Squad to start networking. We have a lot of great people doing a lot of great things that are just in the Well Squad already. We have private lenders. We have all different types of people, within the Well Squad. So use the Well Squad. It's at your fingertips. It's easy to network within the Well Squad. And then if you can't get answers within the Well Squad, people might be able to steer you to the right direction, or they might know someone who does real estate wherever you're at, or you're interested in doing real estate in. So make sure you guys are using the Well Squad to network as well.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hey Ace, can I ask you a Turo question?
Sure.
So I found a couple cars, and I didn't act on because I work a 9 to 5 too, so I wasn't able to act on two of them. It was a great deal. I had a Camry, a 2020 Camry, where they weren't able to pay their payments anymore. There's only $5,000 left on it. So I'm not even gonna talk about that because it's a deal that couldn't even be done. But my point is I found another car, and it's a 2012 Hyundai Elantra with 70,000 miles, clean. The only thing holding me back, and I shouldn't probably even be thinking about this, but it's a station wagon. So I'm in Tampa, Florida. So I know, and I'm gonna be staying right next to this to the airport at TPA. So I'm figuring, even if it doesn't give me the cash flow that I was originally expecting or wanting, and I really don't know what I was expecting. I was just wanting some cash flow from it. But do you recommend? Like I said, I want to jump into this. I don't want to wait because I found a good deal. I've already lost a couple good deals. Do you recommend just jumping into it, seeing what happens, and then worst case scenario, I can cash out of it and go get a better car, but just to get into it, because I would use my own car, but my own car I paid $1,800 for a 2006 Suzuki with 56,000 miles on it, so it's not new enough, and it's not going to get rented. It's just not new enough. It has to be 12 years or newer. So I wanted to use this car as, for example, like I was telling you, I want to use it to get the cash flow so I can use my 9 to 5 money plus my bonus money plus that money to put down on another. Like if I can get two houses at once, I can. Or if I need to renovate, if I need extra money to put 20% down instead of doing the FHA. So to round all that up, my question is should I stop being so self-conscious about the car and just buy the shit and excuse my language, but just buy the thing and then just move forward and jump into it? Or what do you think?
So have you done any due diligence on that car and how much it brings back right now? Because you know within those apps you can put in the vehicle and it will tell you based on your area what that vehicle brings back every month. Have you done that?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of due diligence. It's on average I can get anywhere from like $35 a day to if it's like a busy season, maybe $50 a day, which
Okay.
I don't care if it takes me a year to get the money back, right? I just want the cash flow. It's almost I'm thinking of it as like a dividend stock where I
Right.
put in that money, it's sitting in the car and it's going to pay me every single month dividends just for letting it rent out and stuff like that. So I'm
Yeah.
not really worried. I don't really care if it's cute. Like, I don't care about none of that. I just want the cash flow to come in so that way I can start having, because I'm pretty sure you guys all have multiple streams of income, which we see it on a daily basis based off what you guys post. You guys have multiple streams, and the only way to escape this 9 to 5 is to have those multiple streams. So um I feel like I'm just being self-conscious. Of course, I'm just looking for someone to tell me to shut the hell up and just do it.
Yeah. So
But
that's that's the thing about starting. That's the thing about starting things that you don't know or that you haven't done, right? It's that fear of the unknown. You don't know what could happen. But I tell people this, right? You did your due diligence. You figured out that this car can rent for X amount. So, figure on a low end, let's say the car only rents a couple times a month, right? And then on a high end, it rents out majority of times of the month. But don't just stop with Turo. You have Hire Car that you can list that car on. And there's also another platform that just came up, and they want, if you live next to an airport, they'll give you, even if your car doesn't rent out, they'll give you $300 a month, no matter what, if your car rents out or not, just by keeping your,
really,
yeah, I forget the name of the program. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. But there's so many different things out there. So yeah, just if you did your due diligence, if the numbers make sense, you need to know, okay, on a low end, it might be 0. And then on a good end, it might be this. And then on an average, it might be this, right? So once you jump into it, start doing it, but then also have an escape plan in case, and don't escape right away, give it at least 6 months of trying out different things or trying other ways to put this vehicle to use before you just not necessarily throw in the towel, but before you try a different route. So it's like you're gonna go through that trial and error phase. You're gonna see what this car rents out for, what it does rent out for, and then you're gonna start noticing what people want more on that website, and then you can start gearing your search towards that type of vehicle. So if you're going to find this vehicle at a good deal, if you know what the possibilities that it could rent out for, if it's going to cover, if it only rents out for half of the month, is that going to cover, the monthly payments for that? Is that going to cover the insurance for that? And if it does, great. That means you have to go even harder with making sure that you list it and, do all these things. So if the numbers make sense, jump in.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm doing a cash car, so that way I don't even got to worry about a payment.
See?
It's all cash. That way, all I got to worry about is the insurance, and then I'll be good. Were you able to find that website or that new app?
Hold on, I'm looking. So this is what I want you to do, right? Grab that vehicle and list it, right? And go for it. And then, but I want you to have different plans. So list the vehicle. So clean the vehicle up, get it detailed, and then list it, and don't actually sell it, because list it and see what type of offers people are giving to you, and just keep their information down. That way, if by month 5, month 6, it's not going how you want to go, you've had it listed this whole time for sale and you're seeing what people are offering you. So that gives you a good idea of what you can potentially sell this car for if it doesn't do well for you on Turo or Hire Car or whatever. So it's like that's giving you a good escape route.
That's a great idea. I didn't even think of that. That's genius.
You gotta be 3 steps ahead of the game.
Yeah, because I was like, that makes sense. You just list the car for sale, because worst case scenario, and I would, to be honest, probably I can sell this little piece of crap I got for probably the same amount, and I can take that and probably go get a better car eventually if I see what's working, what's not. I see in my area vans tend to, for some reason, even if it's a 2010, like the Dodge Grand Caravan rents out for like $120 a day. I had one for $7,000 with only 60,000 miles on it, and I did not act on it, and it got sold. And that just goes to show you, anyone who's waiting to act on something, and I apologize, I don't want to take over, but like if you're waiting to act on something, you got to act on it, because if you don't, somebody else out there will. So yep. I appreciate you, Ace, because you're like I say it every single time I come in here. You guys motivate me. You guys are not much older than me, so it shows me that it's possible and it can be done. So I appreciate you, man.
It's definitely possible, and yep, get to it. And so it's called Avail. That's the car service, AVAIL.
let you know. But as of right now, there's nothing that I can see that the side effect or the effective. So if you would like to get one, I can make you a point. No problem.
I don't know what that was, but so Avail is the name of that service.
Okay.
Yep. So AVAIL for any of you guys who are interested in it. That's
Is it an app or a website? I'm gonna look it up, but is it an app or a website?
They have both. But yeah, so you'll do everything through the website. So they guarantee you $300 a month, no matter what. And
Dang, that's good. All right.
And they have a $400 joining bonus going on right now as well.
Nice. I appreciate that, man. That sounds good. Because like I said, I'm gonna be right there. And I think I was gonna put it on hire car too, because I was like, you know what? Worst case scenario, don't work on it don't work on Turo because it's not a flashy car. Like, you know, people want to go vacation with a nicer car.
Right.
But somebody who needs to drive Uber will be glad to use that car if they can't get their own car. So
that's why you want to list.
Sense.
That's why you want to list it on as many platforms as you can and keep it for sale and keep it at the price that, you know, a good price that you would be willing to let that car go for. So just have it listed, right? You're not intending on selling it, but that's just your backup plan. And then for those people that reach out to you, you know, just come up with something, you know, just say, I don't know, whatever, but just let them know if for whatever reason you need to sell the car, if they want you to keep their contact information, you can, and then you can just let them know if the car comes available or not.
Gotcha, man. Again, like I said, I appreciate you. Bless you, man. Thank you for everything.
Yep. All right, you guys. So you guys have some great questions for me today. Like I say in every single class, this is an open space. There is no such thing as a dumb question.
Can I ask one more question? I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
I just got into the Zoom, but I just want to know if there was an actual website that kind of gave the requirements for the FHA loan. So I know we have to live in the property for a year, which I'm down to do, but I'm on a lease somewhere else. So I kind of just want to know, would that, like, if I actually do move to that state or whatever, I get the idea, I live there, would they be able to see that I'm on a lease somewhere else and be like, that's not your primary residency?
That you're on a lease for somewhere else, like as in,
yeah, like an apartment.
Oh no, that has nothing to do. You know, being on a lease for an apartment doesn't have anything to do with it. And you can just go to FHA.com. That will answer all your questions for FHA.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. So,
excuse me, could I actually ask one quick question? Sorry, I've been trying to ask this question.
Go ahead.
Have you ever heard of running into certain fees if you don't put down 20% on a home?
Yeah, so if you go the FHA route, you'll have what's called a PMI, which is private mortgage insurance that you'll have to pay. That doesn't go towards anything. It doesn't go towards your loan, doesn't go towards like principal, interest, taxes. It goes to FHA. It's pretty much a little payment that goes to them for them covering 96.5% of your loan, right? It's just kind of something that like an insurance policy for them that you're not going to back out of the loan.
So would you say you would just look at your own finances and see if you can actually put down the 20% or not, or would you say
it just matters what makes sense? So there's been times where I've gotten an FHA loan on a fourplex and 3 of the tenants ended up covering everything and I still was able to make money. So it just get your numbers, look at your numbers, look and see what rents are, what your insurance is going to be, what your principal and interest is going to be, what your taxes are going to look like, who pays the utilities, do you pay the utilities or do the tenants pay the utilities? Do you have any landscaping? Does your landscaping have any sprinkler heads? Does it snow where you live at? Are you going to have to do snow removal? All these, do you have lights on the outside? Do you have water on the outside that you have to take care of for utilities? So it's like, get all your expenses down to the exact penny. And then it's like, now, once you know exactly what it's going to cost you to live in this property, everything to the exact penny, now you can start getting your funding. You can figure out how you want to finance it. You can look and see what makes sense better. Does it make sense for you to go this FHA route? Does it make sense for you to just wait a little bit longer to try to find enough money to come up with the 20% so you don't have to worry about paying the PMI? So it's like, you have to do what makes sense for you and your situation and what you're trying to do. Because there's not just one thing that's just going to say, this is absolutely going to make sense every time, because everything is not going to always make sense every time based on what you're trying to do.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right. So like we were saying, we're wrapping this up. We got into the first time home buyer program for the state of Texas. I gave you guys some great links and stuff like that. For all of you that tapped in late, send me a message on Well Squad. Let me know what state you guys live in so I can, the next class, whatever I get the most responses from, I'll break down that state. And, you know, we'll do this a couple more times before we venture off into something else in real estate. But like I said, this is a safe place. I always recommend you guys message me. I do my best, you know, for those of you that message me on the Well Squad, I answer all you guys' questions. If you message me on social media, it's a little bit harder. So it's a lot easier for you guys to message me on Well Squad because I know it's going to be our Well Squad members and I want to take care of you guys first before I taking care of other people. So yeah, this is, like I said, this was our, I think this was our 8th or 9th class together. You know, we're going strong. As you guys can see, we have members who are taking action. You know, hopefully you guys are out there taking action. If you guys have any questions or if you guys are in deals or if you close the deal, about to close the deal, if you guys got any questions, just please feel free to shoot me a message. There is no such thing as a stupid question. And, you know, I'll make sure I get back to all you guys. So thank you guys for taking your time out of your day to tune in with me to this class. Thank you guys for asking questions. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. It's Thursday. Friday's coming up. The weekend is soon. You guys know, my motto for that. Don't take your foot off the gas. The weekend doesn't mean kick back and relax. It means, go even harder so you guys can escape, that rat race if that's what you guys are trying to do. So other than that, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you. And I hope you guys all have a blessed rest of your day.
Appreciate you, Ace.
Yep.